Hello, good day, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are from. And thank you for coming to Applaud's webinar today on our 2022 product roadmap. I'm Duncan Casemore, I'm a co-founder and CTO, and I'm delighted today to be joined by Steve Jackson, who is our head of product management. Steve, good day to you.
Hi Duncan, hi everyone, thanks for joining. I'm looking forward to taking you through what we've been up to in the last year and what we've got ahead for 2022.
Brilliant, thank you, Steve. We have just switched off our videos due to internet connection, so I'm sorry that you can't see our wonderful faces, but if things improve, we may switch that on later in the session. A little bit of housekeeping before we get going. The session is being recorded, so you will get a copy of the slides and a link to the recording afterwards. And if any of your colleagues would like to catch the session, then a recording will also be available from our website at a later point as well. At the bottom of your GoToWebinar, there is a questions section. Please feel free to put in questions in there at any point during the session. We will be doing a Q&A at the end, and we will try and get through as many of those questions as possible, but feel free to drop them in whenever they come to mind. Okay, so I think we'll get started. I do see a number of people still joining, but I think we'll jump into it. I'm really excited today to be sharing with you Applaud's product roadmap. We've got some brilliant things to be sharing in 2022. Before we get into that, I would like to start with just a short recap on where we're at, where the market's at, and how things are looking. So a couple of things. First of all, and this is really interesting, for the first time, employee experience outpaces HR tech. We can see that since the pandemic began in March 2020, that trend has been increasing. And what that really tells us is that we've reached a level of maturity in buying our HR technology solutions. HR tech solutions primarily are centered around serving the needs of HR first. And really what the pandemic has done, what 2 years now, nearly 2 years of working remotely or anywhere work has done, is that it's forced us to think about much more how we can improve the employee experience and improve that. And we're really looking to buy solutions that improve the experience for the employees now, rather than benefiting HR first and foremost. When we look at the market sizes for this, and the squares are relative in size, we can see that the employee experience platform market, quite a new market, is expected to reach $300 billion by 2028, significantly bigger than the HR tech market. And CAGR, compound annual growth rate, that's the estimated annual growth in each of those sectors year on year, both growing really rapidly, but the employee experience platform market growing almost 3 times the speed of the HR tech market. And this really reflects the trend that we're seeing in this new emerging market and people looking for solutions that benefit the broader employee experience. When we look at Applaud, we're lucky to be in a space that's super hot, a lot of interest around employee experience, and our own annual growth, CAGR, has been an average of 72% over the last few years. So phenomenal growth, and we're really starting to see that accelerate even further, which is super exciting. 2021 was a great year for us, won a number of awards, a number of SaaS and vendor awards, and a whole ton of industry press. Really exciting to see that. This is just in 2021, so the momentum in this space and the Applaud brand recognition is really growing quite aggressively. Super exciting to see. Also great to get this feedback from Josh Burson, one of the leading analysts in the space, founder of Josh Burson Academy, who describes Applaud as one of the most mature and sophisticated implementations of a workforce experience platform. So we pile in a ton of resources into innovation and our product. We care a lot about this. We at heart are product people. I come from a product development background. Ivan Harding, our CEO, also comes from a development background. We have 40% of our workforce in development. which is a massive percentage, and we pump as much into innovation as we possibly can do. Last year, we released 194 product features. Many of those things you wouldn't even be aware of. Many of them you might have heard of. And so, turning our attention to the product roadmap, I first wanted to just look back on some of the things that you might have missed in 2021. I often get asked, what's on your roadmap? And before I answer that question, I'm excited to answer that question, I always ask back, well, what have you already got that maybe you haven't made the most of? So I would encourage all customers and prospects to really think about what are the potential things you haven't utilized in the Applaud platform, because it's big, that you can get value of today whilst keeping an eye on the future as well. And I'm sure there'll be a tremendous number of things that you'll find that you could benefit from, including some of the things that we're going to talk about next. So now I'm going to hand you over to Steve, who's going to talk about some things you might have missed in 2021. Steve.
Hi, Duncan. Thanks for that background there. Disappointed that I didn't get the opportunity to go through all 190 plus features, but there's only so many hours in the day. So we've picked out 7 things that we think would be of interest to you that you may have missed in 2021. So we're going to start off talking about something that's really close to my heart, but spend a lot of time working on this, and that's our brilliant templates feature. So one of the most important things that organizations can do is strengthen from the inside by investing in modern HR practices. Historically, and for too long now, this modernization desire has been held back by complexities of trying to innovate with lots of different legacy systems, dependencies on IT and development teams, to make even simple changes, and that's really been holding people back. Dependence on technology means that projects that you wish to try and implement, they quickly become complex and expensive, or they never start at all. So this leaves your people struggling to do even basic things such as accessing online help, getting their hands on policies, and it all really just adds up to a lot of wasted time and money, which when you add that up over organizations, it adds to an eye-watering level of waste and cost to businesses. And that's given us the impetus to innovate. Our templates feature, Applaud Templates, gives you at the moment 30 plus best practice HR templates. We've spent a lot of time looking into the market, looking into our own HR backgrounds, talking to customers to try and really deliver some best practice functionality. We can really kickstart projects through one-touch installs, everything fully customizable, and importantly, everything's no code. So this innovation helps put your HR teams in the driving seat, and you can really power forward to a modern workplace. There's no coding necessary for any of this, and it really, after a long time of what people wanting this, puts innovation in the hands of the people that need it, and in our case, that's HR teams. And evidence of that, we recently had a very large public sector customer. They've utilized templates and some of our other enablement features, and they've actually been able to innovate so rapidly that even our own best consultants will be proud to have been part of that. And I'm sure, as many of you will know, innovation at pace in the public sector is a very rare thing indeed, and a lot of that is down to the power of our templates feature. So I'm going to take you on now to talk you through some chatbot stuff. Chatbots was a bit of a buzzword for a number of years now. People have been asking all sorts of things about them. It's a bit of a lack of understanding from some organizations. Other organizations have spent a lot of time thinking about how they might want to use chatbots, but the way we've approached it right now, we think gives you something different. One of the reasons we looked to do this at all was because some research we conducted over the last couple of years shows that a quarter of all employees could save up to 2 hours a week with better HR tech. And in the same research, this showed that HR itself can save as much as 20% of the time they spend on admin tasks if they had better processes in place. So, for example, a small everyday task eats into an HR team's day, reduces their output, productivity, but for workers themselves, they waste valuable time trying to complete HR tasks. any moment or any minute they're not, any minute they're spending on HR tasks is a minute they're not spending on what they're supposed to be doing. And as lovely as HR tech software is, we don't really want people to be spending hours using it. We want them to be able to get their tasks done as effectively as possible, and spend as least time as possible using the app, which enables them to focus on their productivities. Because these disruptive tasks, if they are not handled in a competent way, it makes it just wastage all the way around. So we've used our chatbots to enable you to automate your HR services. We've got several ways we can do that. It gives you the ability to create chatbots that can help provide your workforce the help they need within the flow of work, and access to the help right when they need it at the right time. And all of this is no code without any HR involvement. Saves everybody valuable time. So it could be a proactive chatbot that helps you when you're stuck on a form. It can be a chatbot that can help you find information, or it can be for a number of other reasons. They're all highly configurable and they're all no code, and they can be triggered in a variety of ways. So the key benefit of this is that it puts the help in the needs of people right when they need it. And it's already proven to be a very powerful feature for customers that have implemented that so far. Next up, we've got some integrations news for you. So as I alluded to previously there's a lot of different technology already out there. We recently discovered that on average, organizations have around 11 different HR solutions in place. You obviously understand that if you've got 11 different systems, that can often mean multiple different sign-ons, even if you've got SSO in place. The user experience varies greatly between all of these different places. The data can be out of date, can be spread across multiple places, and this really starts to add up to a major problem. So disconnected processes, scattered tasks, slow workforces, slow workflows. This is all disruptive to the workforce, and it damages HR's reputation. So what we've got within Applaud, we're really proud of, is a fantastic integration capability that makes it possible to unite your existing data and knowledge sources. It helps you to bring everything together into a single place. It can automate HR processes using workflows and helps you connect Applaud to best-in-class applications. So within our integration layer, we've got over 1,000 pre-built connectors. That wasn't a mistake, I did say 1,000. We can connect to all manner of different systems, just pulling some out at random. We've got Workday, SuccessFactors, Oracle, DocuSign, SharePoint, the list goes on. That's just to name but a few, but all of this leads to the ability to bring together in one place all of your data into an easy to use, beautiful employee experience. And that's something that people have been asking for a long time, and we are able to deliver that today. Moving on now to feedback. So anyone that follows the HR press or LinkedIn or some of the analysts out there, you can't fail to have noticed the news about the Great Resignation happening right now. People leaving their jobs at an incredible pace, and that's really helped everybody to understand that we need to focus on retaining your best team. It's become a major priority for everybody. The way people have worked has been changed dramatically due to the pandemic. So work from home, hybrid work, these are all here to stay, and the need to capture employee feedback has become really, really important, more important now than ever before. But why does it matter? It matters because if you don't know how your employees are feeling, you're likely to find out the hard way when you get a resignation letter landing in your lap, and nobody wants to find out how their employees are feeling in such a dramatic way. So what we've built is some powerful feedback features. Applaud feedback surveys, they give you the ability to collect feedback and dive into moments that can be filtered by persona. So for example, you can compare the 7-day shop assistant onboarding experience with the previous period. You can see how people are feeling, see which processes are working well, and how people's emotions change over the course of time. It helps you to make changes to your processes in order to get everybody to be clicking on the happy face or the 5-star rating, however you've set it up. You want to be using these insights to make the changes that your business needs to make in order to keep these employees happy, engaged, and avoid them from becoming the next resignation within your organization. So nobody wants to be bombarded with questions and disruptive surveys popping up all the time. So we have what we call a Applaud's 1-question promise. So this respects your workforce's time, and we'll only ever ask 1 question at a time. You can configure what that question is and how the ratings get captured, but all of this leads to improved completion rates and helps you get clearer insights into what you're doing well as an organization and what needs improving to keep your team happy, engaged, and retained. We can move on now, Duncan, to a quick word about data privacy. So we've got a global customer base. Everyone's got different needs and requirements about how they want to store and manage their data. So our infrastructure team expanded our offering last year so that you can now choose between US and EU data centers, the EU one being in Frankfurt. This gives you the flexibility to run your Applaud investment your way. So data privacy that works for you wherever you are. This builds upon our existing commitment to our global customer base and builds upon our data security credentials and ISO certifications. Just one more feature in this look back, and it's a really exciting one. We've got some major changes made to our help offering, and we've also got our Applaud Academy that we're very proud of. So there's the old adage, nobody reads documentation, and it can still be true despite the best efforts of many people that have tried to get people to read manuals. Some people don't, but so even with best-in-class software, the quality of help and training can vary greatly. If you don't have good documentation or good training, that leads to a lack of understanding, and it always leads to projects going slowly, grinding to a halt, people getting stuck, bad feeling, etc., etc. So thankfully, we've got a world-class tech comms team, fantastic group of people, and they're dedicated to writing documentation that's easy to understand, and that documentation is supported by tutorials and some really great training that helps you bring together all the skills and information you need in order to drive forward your employee experience initiatives. And since we've launched Applaud Academy, we've seen not only partner consultants, but also customers on the coalface, so to speak, taking this training and immediately putting these skills to life, driving forward their own no-code innovation. This training and help really gives them the confidence to kind of push their own boundaries, because they no longer feel that they need to have an IT consultant on hand or a pet developer on standby, sitting in their desk drawer to write lines and lines of code just when they need to add a new field to a form. So this is a really fantastic effort by the Tech Comms team, and our Help Academy, something we're really, really proud of. And finally, the other 190 plus features. Can't expect anybody to read that. It's deliberately small. There's no reflection on our design skills. What we'd like you to try and do, if you're mindful to do so, is scan this barcode on screen. Hopefully it won't be a tech failure. We did test this, but if you scan that will take you through to read our release notes at your leisure, and you can find out more about some of the fantastic work that all of our teams have been putting in over the last year. So that finishes up that section. Now I'm going to pass you back to Duncan now to talk about our release schedule for the year ahead.
Thanks, Steve. Great stuff. All right, so almost into it. Our release schedule is changing. What we used to do is drop monthly releases and then make features available as and when they are ready. there might be a major feature coming in a particular release, there might be a minor feature coming. It's kind of ad hoc, and it's difficult for customers to plan innovation cycles around big new features coming. So we're changing that. For 2022 onwards, we are doing 3 big releases a year, 1 in April, 1 in August, and 1 in December. All major features will be dropped in one of those big releases. Our first one will be in April, release 6, then release 7, then release 8. We will be doing ongoing continuous releases throughout that period. These may be off-cycle releases for security updates or fixes or for very minor features, but all big features will come in one of these 3 big releases. Our first release, I'm delighted to announce, is called release Adelphi. This is going to be delivered and available to all customers on April the 30th. Adelphi is named after the world-famous Adelphi Theatre in London's West End, right in the heart, next to our HQ and just off the Strand. We think the theatre is an amazing celebration of consumer experiences. It's completely what Applaud is about. And Adelphi are currently screening Back to the Future, the musical. So follow us on LinkedIn, keep your eyes peeled. There may be some freebies becoming available over the course of the coming months as well. So really excited to announce that our first release is Adelphi. Our next 2 releases in 2022 will be release 7 and 8. Release 7 available to all customers on 31st of August and release 8 available on the 31st of December. It's important to also talk about what's not changing. So Applaud is true SaaS. That means all customers get all updates at the same time. However, we always provide an opt-in for major features. We understand some of the problems that SaaS release cycles can bring and the ongoing perpetual change management required. We always provide an opt-in for all major features so that there are no breaking changes. We do also provide 0 effort incremental improvement. These tend to be quite small things maybe you wouldn't even notice, perhaps a tweak to the corner radius of a button or the alpha of a particular color, or maybe things that only affect the super user interface and provide small productivity improvements to them. Ultimately, things that don't require change management to your end user employee base. So that is not changing. All of this is the same as what happens today. And then before I hand you back to Steve, these are the main themes of our 2022 product. Everything links back to one or more of these themes. First of all, and Steve touched on this, faster time to value. It's already very fast to deploy Applaud. The days of lengthy enterprise cycles that take months or even years is alien to us. We want it to be weeks. We are looking at ways continuously to make that even faster so that you can get value from the Applaud platform really quickly. I like to think we invented the notion of consumer grade technology in the workplace. We're all about this. When employees step into the world of work, they should expect the same consumer experiences that they get outside the world of work in their personal life. And particularly for 2022, we are looking at innovation, even more innovation to make our mobile app more mobile first, and looking in the flow of work, more on that to follow later in this session. We set our standards to the very, very best consumer technology, not enterprise vendors. Then workforce first. This means stuff that genuinely creates value for the employee, that helps employees be better employees, helps managers be better managers. Actual value add for the employee consumer. We talk a lot about no code. Applaud is already a no code platform. You cannot write a line of code in it. And we want to make that no code even easier for HR to use so that we can innovate faster with less dependency on tech teams. And there's some cool stuff coming around analytics. More on that later, but making Applaud more insightful with more easier capability to demonstrate return on investment. And then extending the AI capabilities to make that really deep and intelligent throughout the product. So I'm going to hand you back to Steve, who's going to walk through some of 2022's very exciting things that we have planned. Steve.
Thank you, Duncan. Yeah, some really good product themes that we're working towards, and everything I'm going to take you through here encompasses one or more or several of these core values that we're looking to work towards. So we're going to start off with a really exciting one, and that's our offboarding journey template. So offboarding can be extremely complicated process. Involves lots of different people, different processes, different departments, and different emotions. You can be leaving a business for lots of different reasons. It can be resignation, end of contract, retirement, and beyond that, there's a lot of things going on. And according to some research from Tech Republic, 48% of organizations said they're aware that former employees still have access to corporate networks, and a further 20% of organizations say they've experienced a data breach that's linked to former employees. So not just from a kind of tech point of view in terms of kind of data security, there's a lot of emotion and a lot of, it's multifaceted and complex, but just that part of it alone, the fact that former employees have access to your systems, people are going to be getting fired over that. So that can often happen for a number of reasons. It could be as simple as failing to deactivate a user account when they leave. There's challenges with returning tech, so bringing back laptops, phones, etc. It can even be failing to stop payroll. People can continue to be paid when they've left organisations. That does actually happen. So the implications of a poor offboarding experience can actually be really disastrous. On the flip side of that, an excellent offboarding experience, Karen. An excellent offboarding experience leaves the door open for reconnection. It increases brand loyalty and boosts employer reputation. So the Applaud offboarding template, the aim of it is to bring together all the information that everybody involved in the processes needs, right when they need it. So the person offboarding themselves, they need information about what happens as they're leaving. Managers need to know, they need to organise things like exit interviews. Payroll need to know the date of when somebody's leaving. All of these disconnected processes are being brought together within the flow of work with the offboarding template, so that nothing falls through the cracks. So it's really exciting. And that's just one of the journeys we're looking to build. We move on now to the next one we're going to talk through, and that's the new manager template. The new manager template has been designed to help managers that have recently been promoted. So there could be some challenges when you've become a new manager. So often what happens is, congratulations on your promotion, you're a new manager now, so go and work it out for yourself. People are wanting to impress. New managers want to hit the ground running. They want to show that they deserve their promotions. They want to justify the fact that they're now having to possibly, their friends maybe, having to report to them as managers. It can be quite difficult to try and adapt to life as a new manager. It's quite challenging. So because you're no longer focused just on your own goals or your own output, you have to consider the other people that are depending on your leadership now. And if you don't have clear and helpful advice on what is expected of you as a new manager, you can quickly become overwhelmed. You can worry about underperforming, letting people down, not following processes. There's a lot of different ways that becoming a new manager can unravel if you're not supported in the right way. So that's why we're looking towards building new manager templates. So again, pulling on best practice guidance, insight we've got from our experience of working with lots of different customers, towards building a new manager template that helps new managers to flourish, because they'll have personalized information that helps them and be supported as they adapt to life as a new manager, regular communication and nudges to help guide them through the things that they need to do within their first few weeks, and it helps them get up to speed by assisting their 30, 60 90-day plan. We can also connect managers with mentors, kind of buddy schemes, and that further enhances their confidence as they adapt to life as a new manager. Another template we're going to be making soon, is in progress, is a transfer template. So not everybody's being promoted, but people do move around organisations all the time. But if historically, effectively moving people between departments or business units has basically been the bane of the life of many HR professionals. It's often been a poor and disjointed process. It can turn an exciting promotion or a move into a different area into a frustrating and time-wasting experience for everybody involved. So we're keen to not let that happen. If you don't complete transfers correctly, there can be all sorts of implications. So failing to complete a transfer can directly lead to confusion, data breaches, security issues, duplicate data, all manner of different problems. So we want to try and build something that supports a seamless transfer. So the new transfer journey template that we're delivering is going to give you some best in practice starting points upon which you can support seamless internal transfer. So bringing together all the tasks, all the information and the content that's needed to support people as they move around, bring it all into one place. The right people have the right information at the right time. And by providing a pre-transfer on the day and post-transfer tasks, people know what they need to do as they're leaving one job and what is expected of them when they begin the new job once the transfer completes. So the days of people suddenly appearing in org charts multiple times are gone thanks to the transfer journey template. We talked about offboarding before, but everybody on this call at some point has started a new job, and it's a mixed emotion for a lot of people. You're sometimes nervous about starting a new role. It's often a huge part of your life, taking the step to leave one organisation and start another one. But too often onboarding can be mistaken for a paper pushing exercise. Lots of information about payroll, tax, employee handbooks, filling out forms. It's all important stuff. Can't overlook the importance of that. But they're not the heart of the onboarding process as we see it. You've got a poor onboarding process. There's been talk on articles that I've read before where it leads directly to people leaving a company within the first few days of employment, and that's particularly something that's happening a lot as people are being onboarded remotely. They don't know what they're doing, what's expected of them. They've got no clear goals about what they're expected to do, who they report to, who they need to ask for help, and a poor onboarding experience can actually damage your company reputation, frustrate employees, and it just causes excess work for everybody involved, managers, HR, to support this new joiner. So we put a huge amount of work and time into coming up with an onboarding journey template that's packed with best practice thinking. And all of this helps new joiners get off to a flying start. You get this right, an excellent onboarding experience will improve not just the employee experience, but it will also reduce your first year attrition, and it frees up HR to carry on with value added work. A lot of this is powered by our powerful workflow engine, enables you to automate the inflow of work tasks that everybody involved in onboarding needs to do, and our knowledge templates allow you to have personalized help right there when you need it. So for example, the onboarding of a graduate can be significantly different to onboarding a new senior manager or executive. So you can use personalization and personas to tailor your onboarding experiences exactly to the target audience, and that helps massively. You're not just giving everybody a list of things to do, forms to tick. You're giving people relevant information, and that supercharges your onboarding experience. And just one more template before we move on to something else. We're going to quickly touch on time off. Time off, there's just so many different types of time off all around the world. Even within the last few days, our Chief Revenue Officer sent me a requirement from a customer, and it was a colossal list of different types of leave, and everyone's just got so many different ways they need to handle time off. So we've done a lot of research into all of this to try and support the varied leave policies around the world and address some of these challenges that people have when it comes to leave and absence. So we're developing best practice time off templates coming later in the year. It brings together a lot of this experience we've built up over a decade at Applaud and beyond in our careers to try and finally deliver some best practice templates that can really help businesses to supercharge their time off processes. And this involves going above and beyond forms and calendars. Of course, they're going to be in there, going to have great consumer grade forms. We've got a really good calendar, but these templates go beyond that. It helps connect people together with, again, personalized answers to questions, relevant information depending on your role. And all of this helps people to understand the policies that are in place so that they get to use the leave policies that HR teams spend so much time developing. Our templates will help people to use the correct time off and get the best value out of the processes that are in place to support people when they need to take time away from work. So we're going to try and take a break now for a poll. I'm going to hand over to Mita to get that running. So we'd like to ask you which feature appeals to you the most. It can be one of what we've shown you there. It could be something else, but we've got some options there for you to click on.
Thanks, Steve. While that's running, and just keeping an eye on time, I think we might, we've got so much to get through, haven't we? It's a big roadmap. Might need to accelerate through some of the later sections, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Thankfully, my further sections are a bit shorter. I was focusing a lot on the onboarding stuff there, but when we get the screen sharing back up and running, I'll be taking you through some of the other non-template features.
All right, just a few seconds left to vote. More on the results of that later. I'm delighted to see a question from the audience asking if multiple options can be selected. There is, of course, more than one wonderful feature. Okay, I think we should move on when we are ready, please. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, I look forward to seeing the results of those. So yeah, I've talked a lot about templates and journeys. They're hugely important features, but that's not all we're delivering in 2022. I'm going to quickly take you through some of the other features that we're going to be introducing. So form validation, you see here, everybody on this call will have struggled with filling in a form online. It's something that happens day in, day out. And personally, I've been designing forms for over a decade now. So I should know what to look out for when I'm filling in form, but almost every day I hit errors within forms. Not on Applaud forms, obviously, so they're all perfect, but my day-to-day life is just filled with frustrations at some of the user experience challenges of poorly designed forms. To be fair, designing a perfect form does involve a great deal of thought. There's a lot that goes into it. So the order of fields, labeling, inline help, how to handle errors, all sorts of things like that. But our form validation feature helps towards building good forms, gives you capabilities that help you to prevent bad data coming in at source by reducing rejection rates and accelerating transaction times through some of these features to improve the form experience so that you don't get a mess of data in. But this leads me into the next feature, which is smarter forms. As I said about there, building upon that, form validation is just one part of what makes a great form. We're continuously innovating to improve our form conversion rates and increase the productivity with forms that were smarter, more interactive, more dynamic. So some of the features that we've introduced already and looking to do going forward powered by a concept called form interaction. So this is a no-code way that you can tailor your forms to refine the user experience. This involves things like only showing certain forms under certain conditions, progressively disclosing information as it's needed rather than overwhelming users with massive forms full of sections that are no use, irrelevant fields they have to skip through. It really helps you to refine down to just capture the minimum information that people need in order to input accurate information to complete their transactions. And as I said, it's a no-code feature, so it's really, really powerful, but it's super easy to use, very intuitive. So excited to see that continuing to improve. Next up, we're going to talk about a great new feature that I'm really looking forward to seeing. That's our inline super user help feature. So as I mentioned before, we've got a world-class tech comms team here, providing us with amazing training and documentation. But in our Adelphi release, we're going to bring some of this brilliant content right into within Applaud itself, which is a hugely exciting milestone that I'm keen to work towards. So what this will do is give super users and experienced designers instant access to contextually relevant help right in the moment when they need it. So as they're developing pages or workflows, etc., anytime they're extending Applaud, even though it's no code, sometimes you will need to refer to documentation. So we're bringing that documentation exactly where you need it. And that's going to have many benefits. So it helps them to understand the platform capabilities more quickly. It reduces their need to change between different tabs to refer to help. And all of this leads up to helping people to build things even more quickly than they already can today. So it's a really exciting feature that we're looking to release soon. Clicking on to some more about our data protection. As I spoke before, we've just invested in multiple data centers in the US and the EU. We're continuing our commitment to delivering the highest possible security within Applaud when it comes to data privacy. So this year we're building upon all the ISO certifications that we already have, with a new one coming along to support our data protection credentials, and that's coming in the form of ISO 27701, which is the Privacy Information Management System. So great commitment by the team in order to not just have great features that people love, but all backed up by a solid foundation when it comes to data security. We're also looking to improve our enablement. So our existing content already gives you a really good place to start from when it comes to how you use Applaud, what it can do. But we want to give you more in the year ahead. So there's a huge cross-team effort in progress at the moment to further improve our enablement. We're looking to give you best practice agile approaches, toolkits, and methodologies that can help you plan, design, and build towards better innovation that comes quickly and easily for you. So it's all going to lead towards more successful projects that will help you deliver value even more quickly. So lots of work going on across multiple teams there to improve our enablement. So going beyond Adelphi release 6, just quickly touch on a few things that will be coming later on in the year in releases 7 and 8. So as Duncan mentioned earlier, we're looking to improve our analytics. So later in 2022, we're going to be working on accelerating the development of some dashboards and analytics, the goal of which is to help inform you of the return on investment you're getting out of using Applaud, get some dollar signs against some of these metrics to start help with the reporting further up the chain, and act upon feedback, usage and insights. And this will all help you to understand the value you're getting from your Applaud platform, and it will also help to uncover insights and opportunities so that you continue to get more from your existing investment going forward. Going on from here, we've got some exciting news coming up to do with anyone that's interested in Applaud learning, which of course you're all excited about, I can tell. It's a fantastic set of courses we've already got in place in our Applaud Academy. The kind of gold standard that's coming soon is a new course called Guru Master. This is going to be the ultimate certification that will stand you out as being one of the very best cream of the crop Applaud consultants. So you want to show the world you're one of the Applaud's best consultants, then you will need to achieve this new Guru Master certification. It'll be released within Applaud Academy, and I'm sure there'll be lots of competition to become the first person to achieve this, and no cheating, Duncan. I'm sure you will be one of the first, but give others a chance. Now we're going to move on to some information about what our integrations teams are working on. So, as I said before, we've got fantastic integration capabilities with our connectors, but we're going to be publishing lots more connectors and recipes going forward. So one that a lot of people are getting excited about is a Microsoft Teams bot, which is going to be built using our integration layer. The purpose of that is so that you can interact with Applaud digital services directly from within Microsoft Teams. So you're giving employees a way to access their services within the flow of work. They don't necessarily need to jump out of Teams, log into Applaud, go back. They can do it right where they are within their flow of work. So there's another exciting step towards reducing the amount of time people spend on HR tasks. And there's another way you can help connect the dots within your organization. At Applaud, we're never ones to rest on our laurels, so we're now going to talk about some exciting enhancements coming to our search. So we're already proud of our search capabilities. It's a brilliant search, but we're always looking to continually improve upon this going forward. So our architects are looking at how we can move that search even further forward. And this time we're going to be getting a little bit of help from artificial intelligence. So the aim of this is that we can continue to reduce HR caseloads by providing answers and questions through an AI-powered search, so that it gets increasingly smarter over time and it becomes truly consumer grade. So this intelligent experience really a must-have for the next generation of workers that are joining your organization. They come to expect instant answers, 0 clicks from a Google style experience, and that's something that we're looking to release later in the year as we extend our search capabilities. Going back to what I was saying before about Microsoft Teams, we're also going to be working towards a pre-made Slack bot. It's going to help you interact with your Applaud digital services directly within Slack, and it's another way to help people complete transactions in the flow of work. It's going to cut down the amount of time, again, people spend on HR tasks. So whether you've got Microsoft Teams or Slacks, we've got you covered later on in 2022. And finally, from me, as Duncan said before, we're committed to kind of consumer grade technology, workforce first, and improving the mobile experience for all of these whippersnappers coming out of universities, that they have come to expect a very high standard of consumer grade technology. One of the ways we're looking to do that, to continue our commitment to workforce first experiences, is to continuously innovate, and we're going to be improving the sign-on experience from a more streamlined sign-in, fewer logins. That's going to be across desktop as well, but especially on mobile, so we've got faster and more secure access to everything within Applaud. So I think that's me handing back to Duncan.
Brilliant. Thanks, Steve. Amazing. So much in there already. Really interesting to hear. And thanks so much for sharing those insights with us. I think that's not it either. I think, that's, you pulled out the highlights. On screen now is a whole bunch of other stuff we'll continue to work through. Even more templates than what we've discussed. Even more integration recipes, continual optimizations to the user experience, and then just hundreds of other minor enhancement across all areas of the product. So we're coming to the end of the session, but before we do that, I think perhaps we could flash up the poll results. I think it'd be really interesting for everybody to see how we voted. All right, there we go. So I'm delighted that nothing got 0%. So thank you Thank you for your niche fans who voted for chatbots. I think what's really interesting about this is no code and templates massively stand out, and it shows that appetite, especially now for organizations to want to innovate more quickly, be able to do more faster, and be able to benefit from some of those best practices. So I'm really pleased to see that those two have made it to the top of the pile in the voting. So that's really awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great to see, definitely.
All right, thank you. If we can just remove the poll, and then finishing up, we'll move on to Q&A very shortly. Just where you can learn more. So 3 great resources: our knowledge base, support.applaudsolutions.com, now public and available to everybody. You can learn all about the product there, including new features. Our academy.applaudhr.com, where you can take wonderful lessons and get certification. And then all of our videos that we've got, of which we now have many, are all on YouTube. So if you're handy with the camera, there's the QR codes for each of those sites there. You can also access all of this and toolkits, insights, guides, other webinars through the resources section of our website at applaudhr.com. 5 ways to be in the know. So opt into emails. There's a sign up link at the bottom of resources. We regularly send out really cool value content plus new features to our base there. Connect with us on social. So if you're not following Applaud HR on LinkedIn or Applaud HR, think about that. There'll be some freebies for those who do. And speak to your success manager if you're a customer, because they will be able to give you personalized recommendations on how you can get more value out of the platform based on what you've already got. And if there are things you're interested in potentially buying that you don't have today, speak to sales@applaudhr.com, or reach us through our website. And finally, and I'm probably most excited about this last one, catch us face to face. We are delighted to be exhibiting at Unleash US in March. We have other face-to-face conferences we're hoping to make it to this calendar year for the first time in a few years. So come and see us in person and let's have a conversation with each other. That will be brilliant. So Q&A. Steve, I don't know if you want to pull out some questions that we've got from our panel, and I'll try and answer the easy ones and give you the hard ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a question here. Is there a feedback loop that gets pushed back into the product roadmap?
Yeah, yes, good question. A huge amount of our roadmap is customer-led. We have regular success reviews with all of our customers to collect their feedback. We pull those into a list of requests, and we prioritize enhancements, usually very often by customer. But we do also take feedback from other groups as well. We take feedback from what our sales team are hearing, from what our employees are requesting, and from what others are doing in the marketplace as well. So we collect feedback from all sorts of channels, and then we also use data in terms of how people are actually using the application to also inform the right choices about some of the enhancements that we make. And we've got some more stuff planned in this area too, to try and make some of those feature requests more transparent to our customer community as well. So more on that to follow later this year.
Perfect. We've got another question coming from a customer. It's a great question, actually. Can we create questionnaires asking for employee feedback in extension to the offboarding template? So, for instance, HR would like to collect this info for reporting to understand why employees are leaving with anonymous data.
Yeah, great question. So our offboarding template, I think, will include some stuff already about collecting feedback, things like exit interviews or surveys. With all of our templates, they're completely customizable, so you can do what you like. So the Applaud platform has its own feedback component, which Steve spoke about earlier, that allows you to collect simple pulse surveys in the moment. So, you know, how do you feel 7 days before you leave, 1 day before you leave? You can also use our form builder to collect sort of a more complex form if you want to collect lots of bigger sort of free text fields, or have radio groups where you select from 1 to 5, or sliders. You can build complex forms around that and collect all of that. and then build dashboards to HR all in no code. Or you can use the integration layer if you already have a survey tool that you use, such as Qualtrics. You can use the integration layer to hook off into that, so that triggers the necessary feedback loops at the right time too. So there's loads and loads of different ways of approaching that one.
Perfect. And just one quick question. I've probably just got time for one more, I think, maybe. Excited to hear this one. Could you please let us know when Guru Master will be available for customers?
Good question. Was that I've probably one for you, Steve. Where was that listed on the release? Was that Adelphi?
No, it's not. That's not Adelphi. That will be release 7 beyond. So that second half of the year.
It's going to be by August 31st.
Yeah.
Guru Master. But there's going to have a practical component to that. You will need some hands-on experience deploying Applaud in order to qualify for that one. So ahead of the release of that one, it's a good chance to get hands-on with the platform and deployment if you haven't already.
Yeah, get practice in.
Probably take one more question, Steve, and then wrap up.
One more last-minute ones come in. Do we have a customer community, so a forum or showcase, where we'd like to learn how other customers are using Applaud?
Oh yes, my Oracle days, it was called a customer advisory board or a CAB. More on that to follow. We're absolutely looking at that. It's not something we do today, but we absolutely 100% want to do that. So watch this space.
Perfect. Okay, so we've got 2 minutes left. Probably not many more time for any questions, Duncan. Do you want to close up the session with your final comments?
I will do. Thank you so much, Steve, for sharing the roadmap with us. It's really exciting. I can't wait to see some of this come to fruition throughout the year. And thank you to everybody who's connected to today's session. Thank you for your time. We'd love to hear your feedback about how the session went, what you'd like to learn more about, and what you think of what we've got planned for this year. Thank you so much for attending. I look forward to catching up with you all soon.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Just need to go off and try and build this now. That's my main challenge, but appreciate everyone's time today. I hope you enjoyed this session. We look forward to working with you in the future.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.